Hello there. Welcome to another edition of the program Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio. My name is Muti Olori. Today we'll be looking at the different cultures and statutory laws of inheritance in Nigeria. Under the Marriage Act of 1990, in the event of the death of a husband, a woman is entitled to a certain percentage, at least 1/3 of the deceased estate. But this is not often the case. The law of succession involves the transmission of the rights and obligation of the deceased person in respect of his estate to his heir. While the law of inheritance and succession under the English law is reasonably settled, the aspect of dealing with customary law is not. That breeds conflict and acrimony amongst heirs. So on the show today, we will be looking at this injustice against the women folk and how we can chart a way forward. My guest on the program today is an award-winning journalist whose specialty is in covering issues focused on development and empowerment of women and youth. So I'm being joined on the program today by Ehi Ohiani, and we'll be looking at these issues together. Ehi, let me start by telling you my story. Almost 25 years ago, I lost my father. And village people came. And they said, okay, thank you for spending 25 years with your husband. You have to leave. And they said, take your things that belong to you. I mean, they were telling my mom. And you can go. They did the whole, who will marry who will not marry, or I can't marry my brother's wife. And nobody, okay, I will marry my son, you can't marry your son. You know, all those traditions. And they asked her to leave. As young as I was then, I was like, okay, fine, she should leave. After 25 years, is it the broken chair she's to take the wrapper off, or something she mended when the man fixed? I don't understand. And this story reflects in the life of a lot of women. You've covered these issues a lot. Where did you discover that it's all coming from?
I think it's a bit of, sometimes a bit of an emotional issue to cover. Yes. Dealing with women, you know, especially. Now, you know, the issue of inheritance in Nigeria is very complex. If you're talking about where it's all coming from, it's, for me, from my experience, I would say it's deep sit in our cultures, okay? And it's, I don't know whether to call, because those people who put up those cultures thought that they were doing what was best for the families, yes. If you go back in history, you discover that, you know, like trying to understand the reason why some of those cultures are like that, from the kind of interviews I've had on the field, I got explanations from elders or elderly men in different localities in Nigeria saying that those are customs that were put there in order to be able to take care of the woman. So it's very ironic. So yes, the thinking or the understanding behind what you said, for example, happened to your mom, you know, like they asked the question, who is to marry who and all that. That practice of who is to marry who, according to what I gathered, came as a result of who should marry her in order to be able to take care of her, in order to be able to take over the responsibilities of their deceased brother. That is what it was meant to be. But the truth is, times change. As at the time, those laws are made for people. Laws are meant for human beings. The human beings are not meant for the laws. As at the time those laws were made, that was what was obtainable. The women didn't go to work, the women were not educated, and all that. So, and do you know the funniest thing is that, yes, we could even give that as an excuse and say, oh, that was even convenient. But I also got to discover that we had a generation of mothers who were silently hurting but couldn't speak. They were not really happy. So we can't even say today that it was something that was really convenient or that the mothers back then were even happy about it.
You're mourning the fact that someone you loved passed on. Yeah. And because you want to be kept in the family or taken care of, you're now willed to someone else who may not love you, may not know anything about you. Is that not another form of slavery?
Well, yes, it is actually. It is another form of slavery because you are, as a matter of fact, there are customary laws in Nigeria that regard the woman as a chattel, like a good, the way you acquire other goods. You inherit things, not people,
not human beings, and not
but
woman.
So this then draws you to the fact that indeed it was like a form of slavery. It's just that this slavery is within the family, as it were, under the guise of, okay, we are going to take care of this woman. And at the bottom of it is the financial benefit and the financial gain.
Okay, that is if the man is wealthy?
Yes. I did interviews across Nigeria, and I spoke with the Commissioner for Women Affairs in Kaduna State. And there was something she said that really struck me. She said, look, when the man does not have anything, there is no struggle for inheritance. But once the man has money, once he is wealthy, that is when you start to see people come up with all sorts of stories about this is what the custom says. And from what I have seen, families in Nigeria, pitch their tents with the culture they quickly pick tradition as a cover when it is convenient for them.
What does the law? Does the law have any provision that protects the woman when it comes to inheritance?
You see, the Nigerian Constitution protects everybody. The Nigerian Constitution states that every man, there's no discrimination. We all have the right to inherit. So that is like the basic protection for the woman, or should be. But see where the problem is. The marriage laws, when you are married, inheritance is usually judged under marriage laws. So, if you're married under the customary law, you will be judged under what the law of that custom says. But if you are married under the act, even though you are married under the custom, the certificate or the marriage under the act, the statutory law of Nigeria, supersedes and overrides that of the customary.
So
if you are in the midst of lawyers,
yes,
they would always say that a woman married under the act is an elder sister to a woman married under the custom. So it is never enough to say, oh, I have done traditional marriage. Okay? It's beautiful. As a matter of fact, that is the one our most religion recognizes. And
even the church.
Exactly.
If you don't do that, yeah.
So, but we can't run away from the fact that we are on earth and we are governed by laws. Okay, so go to your customary place or your tradition, do all the rites you need to do, go to church and do what you need to know. But hello, lady, you are living in a country that is governed by laws. The same people who are telling you, oh, the blessings of the Lord and things like that, I am a strong believer of. You can't even, do you understand, challenge my level of belief for God. But
when you get married, customary, yes, and you get married in the church, please, sisters, like you want to say, yes, open your eyes
and make sure you go to the courts.
We'll take a short break. I'll be right back.
I am a total woman.
You're welcome back. It's still Total Woman on AD4 TV radio. My name is Mute Olori, and today we are actually looking at the different cultures and statutory laws of inheritance in Nigeria. And my guest is been blowing my mind with the reality of things on ground, you know, from her various interviews and engagements with women and young people in Nigeria. Now, we say the law protects. Is it that the women are not aware of it, or there's a problem?
It's both ways. It will amaze you the amount of ignorance that women have concerning their rights when it has to do with inheritance. A lot of women are highly unaware of the fact that, you know, you can inherit, or you have the right to inherit. As a matter of fact, if you're married under the Act, it's not a percentage. Everything is yours. If the man dies intestate, that is without a will. If there is no will. But if he dies with a will, then his will should be followed. But if he dies intestate, no will, automatically she becomes the owner of the estate. Okay, but you know, there's this love and attachment to our culture, our, you know, traditions and all that, and you don't want to be the rebel, you don't want to be the bad woman and everything. That's what it is. Perfect, it is good. But as a woman, you need to keep your head up high and know that this is this, this is that. And I think women too should raise issues, especially, you know, raise issues around wills with their spouses.
Before we talk about that, because it's very essential, let's look at the different cultures that you've covered. What's the difference?
I think one thing that runs...
Yeah, the Yorubas, the Igbos, they have...
Yeah, different cultures. One thing that runs across Nigeria, certainly, for sure, is that there is hardly any law that says that the woman is entitled to her husband's estate when he dies. I didn't come across any of such. The best that you have is a percentage. Most do not have inheritance for their women. I discovered that in the north, under the Sharia law, there is more provision for women than in the southern part of Nigeria, talking about southwest and southeast put together.
You don't mean it?
Yes. And it is clearly stated in their Sharia law. Yes. And she has a percentage. It may not be, you know, that she's taking over his estate.
So whether educated
or non-educated,
you are covered, it is there.
It is there. The only challenge we can, and most Muslim women, or most women who are under that law, are kind of like satisfied with that, even though if you look at it internationally, they will tell you, oh no, it's supposed to be the woman and all that. But at least it gives the woman something. In the southern part of Nigeria, in the east, you have traditional laws that, you know, empowers the brothers much more than the wife. In the south or south Nigeria, you also have the same thing, and you have traditional laws that empowers the first male child over the wife. In places like Benue State, the woman is even like, I'm talking about under the customary law now, she's to be inherited as well, you know. But I think from the experience I've had, the worst of all really is that I came across was in Edo State. Yes, Esan, to be precise. And under the Esan law and custom, the first male child inherits completely to the exclusion of everybody, not even the siblings. Also, he inherits everything, and then maybe begins to decide who to give this or who not to give that. And God help you if the first male child is not a responsible, you know, person, you know, and all that.
After the I call it laboring with the husband.
With the husband. Now, this is another big issue. When women are building, when a man marries a woman, nobody remembers where he met her or where she met him. No, the same brothers who come to say, this is our brother's property. Like, did you forget the one room your brother was living
Before
in when he came to marry me. We are now in a duplex, you know, and everything. And you say our brother's property. A lot goes on in homes. Families build their estates together. Women support their husbands in ways that you cannot imagine. She may not be there, out there, but the truth is that a good woman does a lot of background work.
Let's look at the will issue. How do women begin to contest or defend themselves when there's a will involved?
Wills are very complex because sometimes you even have relatives going to create forged wills. Sometimes you have, in fact, some women just give up because they feel, look, their lives are threatened. Their lives are at risk. Like, so when they threaten you, it's convenient for them. So you are scared and then, but I think I also had cause to ask this question, that how should women raise the issue of wills? And one elderly woman in Benue State said, see, women, talk to your husbands. Start telling him that, shebi, you see us now, the way we did, the way we did, and you dey happy and all that. You go like him if when you know they here. That's an elderly woman's. You go like am if you know they here. As you go, they look down on us. We dey for road, we dey suffer. You know, taking it from the emotional angle.
I do not want to say what a lot of men would say. You want to kill me before my time. Are you planning for my death?
But do you know the inevitable happens all the time?
And the woman is left.
She's left just like that, you know. And wise men actually, you know, take it upon themselves to put down a will. If you are putting down a will, sometimes it's good to, you know, make it open. Let everybody know that. There are some people who even share their will in presence of everybody before anything. Say, you are not going to get anything. You know, and things like that.
But the most important thing, if we need women to be protected after the spouse, I think women themselves should have knowledge of what to do, what the law says, and
women need to be empowered. They need to empower themselves. Okay, you need to empower yourself educationally, because if you're not educated, and I'm not talking about just the four walls of a classroom or school, I'm talking about gaining useful information about how to run your home and whatever it is. You need to be empowered financially. The reason why, you know, there's a kind of a woman that in-laws will think twice before they even come into the house to come and say pack. I don't know if you understand, because she knows before anybody even comes, she has already put things in place. But by the time you're just there, you don't even have the financial incapacity of the woman is one of the first places that the in-laws use to take advantage of her.
Hey, we can go on and on this issue of inheritance, because it's like the way it was, it is, and will ever be. But we want to say it, there will be no ever be. Like you said, women should begin to get informed. Women should begin to get education. Women should begin to get empowered. And once you do that, we will own our place. And then we can have the strength to contest when it comes to inheritance. And
also, I also think that we need to do more concerning our laws, because it's not enough protection. It's not spelled out in black and white, you know, that women should, it's assumed that everybody can inherit. We're taking that for granted too much. So if there are any amendments of our laws, we need to push for a bit of spelling it out as it's supposed to be spelled out, you know. Yes.
Advocacy. Who will take that up? Thank you so much, Ehi, for being my guest on the show today. And thank you for staying tuned with us. The issue of inheritance cannot be overemphasized. I'm sure on this another edition, we're going to be getting the lawyers to come in here to break it down for us. And then we'll see how you and I can put our voices together to advocate, especially this period where the constitutional amendment is going on, to see how we can make a little bit of our input into seeing that it is stipulated, written down and sealed and stamped that a woman should inherit when there is a problem like that, or when there's a death of a spouse. Thank you so much. My name is Muti Olori. I'll see you again next week.